video is about solving non-factorable equations using the quadratic formula. To solve equations in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, we use the quadratic formula. So here is a song to memorize the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Again, the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That is the easiest way to solve equations in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 that are not factorable. Let's see one example where we use this to solve an equation. In this problem, we want to find all solutions of the function m of x that is equal to 3x squared minus 13x plus 14 times x squared minus 4x plus 1. This is already partially factored for us. I'm going to try to factor a little bit more and see where that gets me. So I'll start off with this piece and I'll factor that using the more complicated ABC method because my leading coefficient is not equal to 1. So a times c is 3 times 14, which is 42. So factors of 42, positive 42, that add together to be negative 13. And let's see here. It multiplies to be positive, so both numbers are either both positive or both negative. They add together to be negative 13, which means they both must be negative. So I think it's negative 6 and negative 7 multiply together to be positive 42 and add together to be negative 13. So let's rewrite this. 3x squared minus 6x minus 7x plus 14. And then I'll use factor by grouping. Let me change colors. So these two, my GCF, my greatest common factor is 3x, and I get x minus 2. And then now this term right here is negative, so I'll pull out a negative 7, and I'm left with x minus 2. Now notice that because this leading term is negative, I pulled out a negative here, which made this sign right here negative, so that negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14. Next, I'll pull out this x minus 2 to the front, and I'm left with 3x minus 7. Okay, and I'm going to pause there and finish this up when I have everything fully factored. Okay, again, I've only dealt with this very, very first term, this term right here, is all I've done so far. Okay, now for this other term, again, it's a trinomial. Okay, the leading coefficient is 1, which makes it nice for us. And so I'm looking for factors of 1 that multiply to be negative 4. And there are no factors of 1 because the closest you can get is negative 1 and negative 1, but those won't add to be negative 4. So this blue equation is non-factorable. Okay, so if it's not factorable and it's a quadratic, then I'm going to use the quadratic formula. And the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Where it's in the form ax plus bx, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So what this means is that a is equal to 1, this leading coefficient, b is equal to negative 4, and c is equal to 1. So I'll plug those numbers in to the equation. So x equals a negative b, so it's negative negative 4. So plugging this into b, it's a negative negative 4, which is positive 4, plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a, which is kind of a lot. But plugging a, b, and c into there and simplifying. So x is 4 plus or minus the square root. 4 squared is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, divided by 2. I'm going to go this way. And so I have 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 4 is 12, divided by 2. Now, I need to simplify the square root of 12. The square root of 12 is 3 times 4, and 3 is 2 times 2. And so what I get is 4 plus or minus 2 root 3 over 2. And you can review my video on simplifying radicals. Okay, and then every term here has a factor of 2 in it. Okay, so what I get is 2 plus or minus root 3. And there's 2 zeros there. Okay, I'm actually going to circle back here. I was going to, factor it separately, but that ended up being not factorable. So what I'm looking at right now is this equal to 0, and this equal to 0, and this equal to 0. So I'll just solve this kind of as it is, this piece of it. To solve this one, I'll ask myself, what number minus 2 equals 0? And the answer is 2. And then for this one, that's a little more complicated. So I'll think about 3x minus 7 equals 0. And I'll add 7 to both sides. And I get 3x equals 7. And then I will divide by 3, and I get x equals 7/3. Okay, so I get 4 answers here. I get x equals 2, x equals 7/3. I get 2 plus root 3 and 2 minus root 3. And the point of this video is that blue piece was not factorable, but I can still find the solution using the quadratic formula. All right, this video was about solving non-factorable equations using the quadratic formula. Thank you so much for watching.